So I got some goodness to share today that I'm so excited about. Hello, sugar baby. Let me start sharing here. Greetings, greetings, greetings. So I'm very excited to share what I'm going to talk about today. Move y'all back a little bit more. I'm very excited to share something today that has really been on my heart for a while. And it's just kind of coming down into my spirit now in a deep and intense way. So I'm going to share it. Peace, y'all. So if you would, and you're here to have a talk, we're going to talk about Kemetic for a little bit in a spiritual practice that I highly suggest. If you think that's something you want to hear about, then begin to tap the screen. And so I'm going to share with you the background of this first. And then, hey babe, I'm going to share the background of this first. And then we're going to get into the actual terminology. So this is a teaching, okay? And what I'm about to read, once I tell you how it came about, is a website pinned by a person who just came in. Hey there. Hey babe. Called Heru, Heru, and I think I'm pronouncing it right, Kemetic 1985. And so we know that Egypt is not Egypt. It's Kemet, but it was renamed. Greetings, greetings, greetings. So let me tell you how this came about. I have always resonated with Kemetic culture, symbolism, and the pantheon, always. Isis to be particular. And so throughout time, reading about Isis, going through initiations with her, led me into a special fondness for Kemet. And I started practicing and studying Kemetic yoga year before last and into last year. And what I realized is a lot of the Kemetic yoga philosophy was so spiritual and so beautiful. It was something that I needed to take in doses. So I continued my study in yoga, the Indian yoga, and continue to take piece by piece of Kemetic yoga, right? So last year in the summertime, I'm about to set this up. Last year in the summertime, I started teaching yoga at a recreation center. And one of the instructors there, who had her class before mine, we engaged in a small conversation. So when I would see her, we would just be like, hey, cool, or whatever. Everything happens for a reason. Fast forward to last month, about the middle of last month, she showed up in one of my Saturday classes, that instructor. I'm setting it up. And she said that she had participants in her class who was telling her about my class, and that's why she showed up that day. All right, so I thought, hey, it's just an instructor showing up. We cool. All right. So at the end of class, I was talking to some of the other ladies, and I mentioned that I homeschool. So the instructor that I'm talking about said, oh, you homeschool? We homeschool too. And I was like, what? So we started up a conversation, and we both realized we have daughters either the same age or around the same age who could really use some interaction with other people their age, right? And if I start buffering, let me know, because this is synchronicity. That's why I'm talking about it. And this happened during the cycles of galactic activation portals we were in, okay? So we set up a date for them. We met at the park. We brought our paint. Well, I didn't bring my children. I brought my daughter. She brought her children. And we were just painting and having a good time. So then she started telling me more about what she and her partner had been studying, which happened to be about Kemet, right? So lo and behold, her husband showed up and just started dropping nuggets. And the nuggets, they kept hitting my soul. I was like, oh, that, and that, and that. I said, I wish you had a class, because I would sit here and listen to you teach, because every word that he was sharing was hitting me deeply. It was a profound remembrance of what's going on within. All right. So maybe not last night, but the night before, the wife and the husband, Eru and his wife, sent me the website that he had been working on. Now, I was sitting there studying the history of the Bible when I realized, historically speaking, in the Bible, there's this discrepancy about whether or not God had promised the land of, they called it Egypt to the Israelites, the ancient Hebrews, or not. There's this discrepancy. So when I hit that, I was reminded of the website that Eru sent me, and there's the setup. So this is what I'm about to share. I was sitting there reading it last night, and when I tell you, my whole soul was activated and coming alive. And so I want to share with you what I was reading. And Eru is here, so please do forgive me if and when I mispronounce things. So one thing I remembered from that day that Eru was talking is the importance of Heka, okay, and REN, these two words, REN and Heka. And I didn't know a lot about them, but the frequency of them stuck with me. And then when I got on his website, it all just took a life of its own. So I want to read from the website. If y'all are here for that and you really want to hear something ancient that will touch your soul in a spiritual way and cause you to reconsider the way that you are existing in a beautiful way, then begin to tap the screen for me, because tapping the screen helps. What I'm about to share is not just some teaching. It's not a psychological teaching. It's not a religious teaching. It's a soul teaching. And I guarantee you that if it's for you, it's going to penetrate and activate and wake up your consciousness. I promise that. Okay. So let me pull it up. And this is not going to be a long live, because I'm going to have to go in a minute. But this is soul we're talking about. All right, so right now I'm about to read from Eru's website. Let me give you the website. It's called houseofkeperu.com. House of KHEPERU.com. Houseofkeperu.com. So would somebody type that in the comments, please? Houseofkeperu.com. That's what I'm about to read from. This was like going to church in my cells. My cells was going to church. Okay. So REN, REN. REN. Let's read it. And we all need this, okay? Because we all have been renamed. Our frequencies have been altered by the system that we live in. That's why I teach the cosmology that I teach, because it's a way of breaking the spell of the programs that we've been under, the false realities, okay, in a deep and systematic way. So let's talk about REN. I'm going to read it, REN. The spiritual teachings of REN in Kemet are among the most powerful and misunderstood. Gratitude. In Kemet, REN was not just a name. It was your spiritual identity, your vibrational code. your destiny key, and your immortality passport. I'm going to stop right there. So you know, in the cosmology that I teach, you have what's called a galactic signature, okay? It's your vibrational code, right? It's your native frequency. In Kemet, I'm reading here, so I'm not professing to be a teacher. I'm reading and I'm sharing with you what is here and relating it to what I'm studying in hopes that I spark something in you. And I'm reading from houseofkeperu.com. I'm going to read it again. REN. In Kemet, we're talking about what they're calling Egypt was originally called Kemet, okay? Was originally called Kemet, and that's important because that word is a vibration. I'm from New Orleans, and New Orleans was not called New Orleans, Louisiana, okay? It was called Bobancha. The natives, the indigenous people there, called it Bobancha. And as much as I remember, I want to encode that frequency, that sound into my awareness so I can plug into it, because that name that they put over it is not the native frequency, okay? So your REN was not just your name. Number one, it's a spiritual identity. Thank you for liking Alive. Number two, it's your vibrational code. Number three, it's your destiny key. Number four, it was your immortality passport. So when we're born into this reality, we are assigned a name, usually randomly. Sometimes parents think, oh, this name means this, so I'm going to give it to them. But a lot of times parents like the name. It sounds catchy, it's trendy. I myself included, all right? So I'm not talking about people. I'm talking about us and the way that we live in this paradigm. What is REN in Kemet? The meaning is name, identity, vibration, spiritual essence. So if you knew that your name is not just a governmental entity, but it actually has to do with your vibrational code, your spiritual identity, your destiny key, your immortality passport, would you pay more attention to it? REN is the identity beyond the body. Your REN was a part of your soul anatomy. So remember, I'm always talking about the fact that we don't just have a spiritual body. We're just not mental. We're not just emotional. There's a whole framework, hey Skywalker, around this. And the more we learn about our being, the more we can come out of some of this programming. You know, a lot of the patterns that we have, mental patterns, we're trying to come out of it, but we are steeped in it, in our DNA, in our cells, in our soul. So it's not just like a mental framework that needs to release, but we need spiritual framework as well. Let me continue reading, right? So REN was an identity beyond your body. REN was a part of your soul anatomy alongside Ka, which is your life force. In yoga, we call that prana. Ba, which is your personality, soul essence. And there's another word that means heart. Shadow. And REN is the immortal echo. Hey, Divine. REN is the immortal echo. Take that in. Immortal echo. That means this has nothing to do with your body. It's not just a label. Your REN was an immortal echo. As long as your REN is spoken, your soul still lives because it echoes, it vibrates. We're coming out from this physical reality and expanding our awareness into something else. Right here, we're talking about an immortal echo. The soul essence, the spirit essence, the heart essence. REN equals word magic plus vibration, okay? And the Kemetu, which I believe is the inhabitants of Kemet, understood that words are Heka. Heka means magic. Words are Heka. Heka means magic. This was one of the words that he spoke to me when I met him that day. Your Heka. If you knew that your words, and what I'm talking about right now is not just words, right? I'm talking about something more expansive. The way that you express yourself in this vibrational reality matters. It's your Heka. It's your magic. So you got to look at how is your Heka and what is your Heka creating. Again, I'm not professing to be no expert on these words, but I see the resonance in these words with what I teach already. And that's what I'm here to do, right? Help somebody look at this in a different way, because I know if you start looking at things in a different way, your reality shifts. Okay? And this goes far deeper than just what I'm reading, far deeper than I can go. I want to cause you to think and reflect, because this caused me to think and reflect. Your Heka, we don't have a word for our personal magic, right? English is a very young language compared to Sanskrit or compared to Kemetic language. We don't have a lot of spiritual terms because English is not a spiritual language. It wasn't coined that way. I don't know a lot about Kemetic language, but what I do know about Sanskrit is the people who spoke Sanskrit believed that that was the language of God. And so they have a lot of spiritual terminology, hey, gift basket, that we don't have. And so there's no translation, direct translation for some of this. Heka. Okay? Your Heka is your magic. Let me read it. And Eru, if you ever want to get on live together so you can teach this, I really want you to. I'm reading from houseofkeperu.com. I'm sharing with you my passion. This is the season of the sun, and I am in passion, universal fire. Okay? So let's read. REN, word magic plus the vibration, right? REN is word magic plus vibration. The people in Kemet understood that words are Heka. Your REN was a living spell. Your REN was a living spell. Your native vibration, your soul identity, your immortal frequency was a living spell and is. When someone spoke your name, they invoked your spiritual essence. We know a little bit about this, right? So for me, I've been looking at names recently for a good reason, because Spirit has been saying this to me. I didn't have these words, right? The words I had was, it's time for you to embody, right? So one of the reasons that I call myself Veronica Marie, right? My first name is Veronica, my middle name is Marie. But when my mother would say Veronica Marie, she would invoke my attention. I would sit up. It meant pay attention. That had power. So when I began to put Veronica Marie on my brand, I was invoking something in me. Lately, Spirit has told me to embody the name that I was given in Ifa, hence I am Somi, right? Somi is a different type of being, different echo, a different frequency. I am Somi, okay? Veronica Marie invokes something, and so does Somi. Do you cringe when you hear your name? Good question. Let me continue to read. Your REN was and is a living spell. When someone spoke your name, they invoked your spiritual presence. To rename something is to control it. That is why colonizers renamed Kemet Egypt. Okay? They renamed Osar, Osiris, Eru, Horus, Africans, slaves, minorities, etc. Your words matter. Your Heka, it matters. And you can go along, right, in unconsciousness, using your words frivolously. Many of you here have read the 4 agreements, right? And one of the 4 agreements is be impeccable with your word. This is adding an additional layer to this. What are you creating with your Heka? Yes, you have freedom, right, to say whatever you want to say and express however you want to express and exist however you want to exist. But what are you creating with that, your Heka? I'm telling you, last night I was reading this and I was coming alive, and it caused me to come into a more sacred experience with my words. I already love words. I already adore them, but it put me in the energy of sacredness. As a spiritual practice, my words matter. They don't just matter because I'm saying it. They matter because they create. So you got to look at, what are your words creating, right? Because you're creating for a reason. All right, so here we go. If you're creating unconsciously, let's get conscious. Let's continue reading. And I feel it necessary to keep saying this because I honor these teachings so much. I'm not an expert. I'm reading and I'm relating it in my passion. Okay? Let me continue. REN must match the soul, not the system. But if you carry a name given by oppressors, slave owners, colonizers, or religious authorities, you may be answering to a REN that it isn't yours. I think some of us feel that in our souls. When someone calls your name, you don't want to be called that. You give them something else to call you. Or when someone calls you something that you don't like. Like, for example, some people try to shorten my name into Ronnie. I just dislike that. It doesn't resonate. It doesn't call anything forward in me. My soul goes, they're not talking to me. Right? So let's continue. He who does not know his REN is like a Ka without a purpose. Let's go back up. Ka is life force. He who does not know his name is like a Ka without life force. Without purpose, alive but lost. When you don't know what you're answering to and you don't know what is invoked inside of you, when you don't resonate with what you are being called forward as, it's saying you're alive but lost. Your soul is not being called forward, right? So let's continue reading. REN was attacked by design. Colonizers renamed the enslaved people. They renamed continents. They rewrote history because they knew from Kemet that REN is power. So you take away the REN when you rename, or the Heka. Hey, Ru, let me know if I'm saying that right. Hey, Ru. Okay. If they control your REN, your name, what is being called forward or not, you see, if you're called by the wrong REN, then you're not being called forward. A smaller part of you is coming forward, is how I take that, right? If they control your REN, they control your reality. They didn't just enslave, they recoded your soul through language. No matter where you identify from, it could be Africa, it could be North America, it could be wherever, right? But when you take on that frequency, your soul, right, answers in a different way than it normally would. Example, I have a childhood nickname, and it has a frequency, and not everybody can use it. When someone who doesn't know me or isn't in that relationship with me calls me that name, my soul doesn't rise up. It doesn't answer. But let my mama call me that. My soul softens, right? Okay. Speaking your REN is a divine act. To know and speak your true REN is to speak your divine authority into existence. It's Heka, the Kemetic science of creative speech. The creator uses REN to call things into being, and you must do the same. REN and eternal life. The ancient Kemetians believed if your REN was carved in stone, spoken in ritual, and remembered by the living, you would never truly die. Tomb inscriptions often began with, "May my REN endure for millions of years." Your REN was the thread connecting your earthly life to your Ak, your transfigured spirit in the afterlife. To live rightly is to protect and honor your REN, so it becomes a name worth remembering forever. And how I take that is, we're not talking about ego. I want them to remember the company I created and this and that. No. Your REN is a vibration that will echo and reverberate through centuries and millennia, right? And so honor, y'all know I love that word, honor. Honor is necessary. Honoring your REN. Okay, so let's talk about how you can honor your REN. Speak your REN with power, no self-belittling speech. Can y'all commit to that? Speak your REN with power. I am Somi. Hey, Jay. And there's something else coming in that for me that was given to me last night. I'll share that one day personally. Speak your REN with power. Protect and honor your REN. The initiate was taught to speak their REN with power, no self-belittling speech. Avoid defiling their REN through dishonorable acts. Guard the REN of others. We're talking about a spiritual practice here. You dishonor other people's REN, you probably do if you dishonor your own. If you belittle yourself, you probably belittle others, right? The initiate was taught to avoid defiling their own REN and the REN of others. It says guard the REN of others. To tarnish another's name unjustly was to invite isfet, chaos, upon yourself. And when you think about that, that is true. Just think about times where you have villainized someone. It didn't feel good, number one. But in the realm of energy, you were creating something chaotic, the way that people were seeing you, the way they were relating, right? REN. I'm reading from a website. If Eru is here, he can answer that question, because I don't know. I don't think this is relating to the child spirit. I'm not sure. I'm just reading what lit me up last night. The initiate was taught to record their REN in sacred writing so it lived beyond the body. What is your relationship with your REN? REN as the foundation of self-mastery in the temple schools. The first stage of spiritual training, know thy REN. Understand who and what you truly are. I read something today that said, I am a light wave. And beyond the words, I began to see the truth of that within me. You got to know who and what you are. That's the first stage. Okay? REN as the foundation of self-mastery. The second stage, reclaim your REN. Remove false identities and labels given by others. What false identity have you been living under? What labels have you attached yourself to? I teach about labels all the time. When you get attached to a label and that becomes your identity, you limit yourself greatly. Not to mention create a lot of suffering for yourself. Okay? Third stage, live your REN. Become the living embodiment of your true name in thought, word, and deed. That's what has been coming to me lately. Before I read this, that's why I came so alive when I was reading it, because Spirit will continue to speak until you get clarity. Spirit said, embody your name. So I started making moves to do that, and I'm continuing to. And I love that this is confirming it, right? Are you getting anything from this? Let me know. I'm about to go in a minute. Are you getting anything from this at all? This is about self-care. This is another level of self-care. It's not just self-care that I'm going to take myself out on a date and I'm going to buy myself a cute shirt and I'm going to go sit in the salon. This is deep. When you start thinking deeply about the sacred nature of yourself and humankind through ancient teachings like this, you can't help but evolve. All right? Y'all, yeah. So let me continue reading. And I want to see that you're getting something from this as inspiration to Eru to keep this work going. We need it. When I heard those words, REN and Heka, that day, something came alive, and I didn't even know what. But from that day on, Spirit has been speaking about this. Now you put the words to it. Okay, we're bringing more sacredness into this life. Aren't you tired of looking at life as mundane? I get up, I go to work, I get off work, I take a shower, I watch something on TV, I go to bed, get up, and repeat, REN. I'm reading from houseofkeperu.com. Can somebody type that in the comments? I'm asking someone to type it. House of Keperu, and Keperu is Keperu. REN, REN. Okay. Let me continue reading. We're adding sacredness to our experience by plugging into the stuff behind the veil, the stuff that was whitewashed, the stuff that was renamed. House of Keperu. Thank you for that. All right. Your REN is more than your name. It is the vibration of your soul. It carries your history, your destiny, and your spiritual signature. Guard it, live it, and let it be spoken with honor for millions of years. In yoga, we have something called yamas and niyamas. One is the way you deal with others. You deal with others in honor. And one of them is I deal with myself in honor. This is adding layers to it. Your REN is your spiritual identity given by the Creator, eternal in the seen and unseen. Your REN can be empowered or disempowered. Here the word is stolen. Knowing your true name is knowing your true self. To erase a REN is to erase existence. To speak it with truth is to awaken power. Self-mastery begins with reclaiming your REN from all the false identities. Ashe? Now, here's the practice. I love this website because it doesn't just give a teaching, it gives a practice. It's something practical. Let me know if y'all want to hear it. Y'all know I need interaction, so I'm going to stop and ask. Let me know if you want to hear that. This life is a spiritual life, but the veil has been put over it such that we think it's all about the body. I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I'm tired, I want to buy, I want to get, I don't have. There's so much more. Okay? All right. How to apply REN today. Reclaim your name. Research African, Kemetic, or ancestral names that resonate with your purpose. Speak it with Heka. Understand that your words and the names you answer to shape your vibration. I would like to add to this, it's not just the names that you answer to, it's energies you entertain. It's energies you entertain. It's dynamics you entertain. Right? in your false identities. Here we go. Speak with Heka. Understand that your words and the names you answer to shape your vibration. Write your true REN. You have those books, okay? Create a name that reflects your divine identity and live by it daily. Study name etymology. Research the meaning and root of the name you carry. Does it serve your soul? Does your name serve your soul right now, the one you have? Say your REN aloud. Declare your true REN in affirmations, mantras, meditations. Your REN is your signature in the scrolls of the Neteru. You don't just wear a name, you become it. You don't just get involved in dynamics, you become them. All right, peace, peace, peace. I'm going to read about Heka and then I'm getting out of here. Thank you, Heru. Y'all follow Heru. I think he just started an account today or last night. Let's read about Heka. The reason that I feel there's so much word vomit on social media is because people don't know stuff like this. They have no clue what it means to live in a reality that is beyond the consumerism and entertainment, and there's more, and I want to give us the more, right? Heka. I'm gonna get ready to go in a second. The spiritual teachings of Heka reveal the power that modern people still use every single day, but without knowledge of its spiritual weight. Heka is the sacred science of the word. Not magic in the fantasy sense, but divine speech. Word as creation, word as vibration, word as command. I'm not just talking about speak it as though those things that are not as though they were. I'm talking about the way you communicate with others, about others, for others, right? It's your Heka. You're creating. You got to look around at what you're creating. Is what you're creating what you intend to create? Is it chaos or is it orderly, right? Heka is not magic in the fantasy sense, but divine speech. This continues to feed my writer soul, my creative soul, my spiritual soul as an orator, as a speaker, as a teacher, as a leader. It put me more into a sacred sense of the way I use words to create, right? More appreciation for it. Some people feel they're not good with words. I do feel I'm good with words. And so this spoke to me, all right? So, what is Heka in Kemet? Activating the Ka, your spiritual energy, through sound. Literal meaning, He activate, Ka spirit. Heka, activating spirit through sound. Creative utterance. What are you speaking with your creative utterance? If you knew that your Heka was a creative utterance, how would you be using it? Divine speech, the power of the spoken word to shape reality. Your word shapes your reality. Words given to you shape your reality. You didn't know what hot was called until someone introduced the sound of hot to you. Before it was just an experience. But then when they added the word hot, it shaped your reality. In Kemet, every word was a spell. Can we get more impeccable with our words today? If you're committed to that, type committed. I love this too, Jay. If you're committed to your Heka, to becoming even more impeccable with your word magic, your creative utterance, your divine speech. It's not just your words. It's your word as vibration. It's your word as command. It's your word as creation. Are you committed? Some people are saying they're committed. I'm committed. I'm tired of the same old, same old. I'm tired of the regurgitation. It's time for some divine utterance. Your words are divine utterance. I know nobody told you that, but I'm telling you. The words that you speak are divine utterances. You are God. Not God the creator. You're the God in your reality. All of us together are God. You have this book called Megas. That one is kind of scary, okay? Listen. In Kemet, every word was a spell, every name a vibration, every phrase a direction for energy. What direction is energy taking when you speak? What direction is it taking within you? What direction is it taking between you and others? What direction is the energy flowing when you express? Is it flowing toward chaos, madness, confusion, and contraction? Or is it leading to awakened consciousness and expansion? These are the questions when we begin to value our divine utterance. I love this too. Heka is the power to speak creation into existence. You're doing it anyway, unconsciously. Your words create something. They create dynamics. The universe was spoken into form. The Neteru used Heka to bring forth life, not just with hands, but with words. In Kemet, the creator did not build the world physically. It was spoken into existence. This is the law of mentalism. The Hermetic principles, too. Tahuti used Heka to write the laws. Ra used Heka to form light. Osset used Heka to resurrect Osar. You are not just speaking, you are commanding energy. Can you see that? I'm so passionate about this. When you're speaking, you're directing energy from you, through you, out. You're not just speaking. You're casting spells. You're sending out vibration. You're directing energy. You are commanding energy with your words, with your Heka. And some of y'all said that you're committed to seeing it as a more divine utterance, a sacred practice. Yes. Whether you know it or not, your mouth is a temple or a tomb. What are you speaking death to? And sometimes you need to speak death to certain dynamics. So I'm not mad at that. But understand that you are doing it, even if you're unconscious, by what you're saying. How do you know where you're directing energy or commanding existence? Look at the dynamics around you. Okay? Listen. Heka can be used for self-destruction and is being used today. People today still use Heka without awareness, and that's where the damage is done. Examples of destructive Heka in modern times: music glorifying murder, drug use, misogyny, repetitive mantras like I ain't nothing, I ain't shit, they ain't shit. I'll die in these streets, I'm broke, I'm toxic like this. Y'all be seeing these posts, I'm this toxic. Jokes rooted in pain, saying I'm dead when laughing. Every word you speak teaches your Ka how to behave. Your Ka is your life force. Every word you speak teaches your Ka how to behave. And we can't really just tell it to our partners. We have to regard it, right? What is your Heka creating when you tell your partner? Are they becoming more open? You know, that's a question. Jokes rooted in pain. Some stuff just ain't funny to me, and I refuse to laugh at it because I can hear the pain and see the unprocessed pain. You know? Listen. Every word you speak teaches your Ka how to behave. It directs your life force. If you speak violence, your spirit prepares for war, even when there's peace. That's deep. You are training your Ka. In other words, You're programming your autopilot. Can I read that again? If you speak violence or whatever, you put the word there. Your spirit prepares for war even when there's peace. Some stuff ain't wrong, y'all. But you have trained your ka to get defensive like it's wrong. Some stuff isn't bad, but you have trained your ka to react like it's bad. It's the false identities, the REN, right? Listen. Positive Heka. Do you want to be around some positive Heka? I know I do. Some people who understand what I'm reading or who are willing to practice it. Those are the people you can't get enough of. Those are the people who, when you leave, you feel full. Those are the people who know how to use Heka even when they don't know that they're using the word Heka, because they're so intentional about they move with their words and their expression, are people you feel safe around. Heka, soul elevation. Now, it says, think of artists. I'm not going to name these, but think of artists who use positive Heka, soul elevation. These are modern day sacred speakers. I am a modern day sacred speaker. Are you? Are you a modern day sacred speaker? They speak awareness, spark internal revolution. They remind you of your power. They wake up the soul. They are walking in the ancient path of Tehuti, using language to write new futures into the minds of their people. Are you? Are you elevating others when you speak? DMX was a sacred speaker. Okay. He lists Lauryn Hill, Kendrick, Lupe, J. Cole. I don't know these people, so I don't know. Are you a sacred speaker? Sacred speakers spark internal revolution. They remind you of your power. They wake up the soul. They're walking in an ancient path of Tehuti, using language to write new futures into the minds. Are you writing new futures? Or are you causing people to reflect on the old ones? Are you teaching them how to come out of it? Are you coming out of it? What's going on? Your everyday words are also Heka. This isn't just about music. It's about you. When you say, I can't do this, you speak failure into your ka. When you tell a child you bad, you mold their spirit, their ka, to fit that form. When you constantly say, I'm broke, I'm not good enough, you teach your ka to operate like that with others. The most powerful magic in the world is not a spell book, it's conversation. And you cast spells every time you speak. Right. We're so used to calling children bad. Oh, she bad. They bad. Bebe's kids. You know, back in the day it was called Bebe's kids. Heka and self-mastery. I'm almost done. The initiate was taught that controlling Heka begins with controlling self. Self-mastery. Speech driven by fear, greed, anger, and such activates chaotic forces. Can I read that again? Speech driven by fear, greed, or anger activates chaotic forces. You're using your Heka whether you admit it or know it or not. I'm just hoping you're becoming more aware now. Speech aligned with Ma'at, truth, harmony, and justice, strengthens the Ka and brings lasting results. So let me ask you this. If you know what strengthens your Ka, your life force, are you committed to coming into more resonance with that versus other things that are not strengthening your ka. Every time you watch a person who is gossipy and chaotic and fussy, and you tune into that, you train your ka to resonate with that, right? Are you committed to aligning your ka with truth, harmony, and justice versus drama, chaos, and such? When you go through initiations, it's not easy. An initiation is bringing you in a metamorphosis from one state of being to another. And it takes time. And it takes practice. And it's a process. Who of you here are being initiated into the ancient path of the sacred speakers? Who of you? I want to know, who is this resonating with? Because it's resonating deeply with me. And it's not something that you got to take haphazardly. You're not going to be able to practice this with everybody. You got to get around some people who have this understanding and create it together in community. It's not an isolated thing. It resonates. If your inner world is chaotic, your Heka is chaotic. So purify yourself before you speak. This takes you out of the realm of the ego into the spirit. You're not watching what you say because you're scared that you're going to create. Are you scared of your power? You're not watching what you say so you can walk on eggshells because someone is requiring it. You're watching what you say because you honor your Heka, because you see the power in it. You're honoring what you say because you are being crafted and molded as a sacred speaker, a divine utterance, an oracle. Hey, Sugar Shack, always in time. Purify yourself before you speak. It says, speech driven by fear, greed, or anger activates chaotic forces. I don't think I need to preach on that anymore because you can see it. So here's the practice. Y'all ready for the practice? Type yes if you're ready for the practice. This is a spiritual practice, and it's for people that want to go beyond the veil. It's not for people that want to keep doing the same thing. You gotta be over and done with the things that you've been experiencing to step into a new way of being. You got to. You can't keep holding on to but this. You gotta let it go. I just read y'all the scripture yesterday. No man puts new wine into an old wine skin. Here's the practice. Stop using your words casually. Your words either bless or curse. Begin speaking only what you want to manifest, affirm, or become. I want to create a group for this because it's resonating so deep in my soul that I want to practice this with you. So if that sounds like something you might want to do, I think I want to create it on Instagram or maybe on the Band app that I have. Stop using your words carelessly, casually, and carelessly. Stop speaking from fear, anger, and low vibration. Begin speaking only what you want to manifest. Begin speaking only what you want to manifest. You're going to have to send me a DM because I'm not going to be able to save these, and I'm about to go. Here's your commitment. Because we're putting ourselves in a divine initiation as Heka. I'm going to look up how to spell that. Pronounce it. I looked it up last night, but I forgot. This is a divine initiation into divine sacred utterance for people who really want to transform their creative power and their command of energy through words. Stop using your words casually. And I keep wanting to say carelessly, so let me put it there. Your words either bless or curse. Begin speaking only what you want to manifest, affirm, and become. There's a lot more on this website. It's so full of information. When a person creates a website like this, all of their essence is in it, their intention, their passion in it is in it, and the result of it is a universal fire type of experience. So, we're going on a deeper initiation of Heka. And if you want to come with me, I want to do it together in community. Send me a DM and I'll make sure you get the information. All right? That's it. That's the experience I wanted to give you today. A divine experience where you wake up. This is not just superficial. Watch what you say. Oh, don't say that. Don't claim that. It's not that. That's rooted in fear. That's not what this is. This is something deeply divine, something on the level of Ka. Okay? If you want to train your Ka. And I'm looking forward to it. All right. So I got to go now. Peace out. Thank you for hanging out with me. It's something within self. It's something deep, right? Beyond the body, beyond the conditioning, beyond the things we've experienced, beyond the trauma, beyond the little icks and dings we get throughout the day. This is something far more divine, something elevating, something that'll cause rapid ascension. And I'm here for it. So I'm calling forward all the sacred speakers who want to fine-tune and practice together this Heka, this magic, this spell casting, this command of energy in a new way. I appreciate y'all being here too. All right, y'all. Peace.